open, if you want me to open a little bit. Clearly a well-pitched game. We talk a lot about wanting to be difficult to score on, and when you have that kind of pitching performance from two drastically different arms, that takes you a long way. I thought the defense overall was very sound. You know, the play, left field dive, center fielder's over there, picks it up, throws it out. Like the way Lodis came and got some of those ground balls. Miles coming off the bag to tag. You know, he's still learning how to play first base at this level. And Faroux, a couple good plays. But Jamie, so in control of what he's doing, and you can just see the growth. You know, we sit in here and talk about some of the things when he was a freshman, and you look at the command and control of self and game today and adding another pitch that's in play. He's not just adding a pitch to have it. It's a useful, good pitch. And I thought he was in great control of things. Micah did a nice job of feeling the game out. You can tell when he senses that they're on to something, he can switch it. Did a great job. And Johnny came in, Abraham, you could just feel that adrenaline. He's throwing 94, 95 miles an hour. There's probably even more in the tank. You're talking about a good cutter, curveball, changeup. Again, in control of what he was doing. At the plate, Faroux, good at bats. And it's funny, we have so many left-handed arms. He doesn't get a lot of left-handed at bats in the scrimmages. He just doesn't. As a switch hitter, he batted right-handed so much more. So I think there was a comfort factor to be on that side, and he drilled that ball to left and then hammered the ball to right field, and that was the difference in the thing for us was that home run. I thought we threatened in essentially every inning. We just did not show enough of an approach, pitch selection. Very capable, talented team that's been all over the country playing in recent years and are in a regional final, so they know what the heck they're doing, and they pitch us tough. I would hope that as we settle, we're not trying to overdo it. I thought there were guys trying to do a little too much and maybe swinging at pitches they don't normally seem to offer at or chase at, but that's part of game one. I thought Nate did a very nice job catching. Jax is a little banged up, and even though we haven't played, you know, we've been scrimmaging hard for 4 weeks, and guys get beat up even in that. So you see what that addition has done, and his ability to catch, block, throw. Did a good job running the bases. I thought he played a really nice game. So all in all, to be tough to score on is a step in the right direction for having a good team.
A lot of times guys have stuff like Jamie has. Pitch count gets a little up, they nibble a little more, but I looked up his fourth inning, he's like 32, 33 pitches.
Well, he had a lot of ground balls early in the count, and you don't always see that, but you saw it tonight. Like, he induced some choppers and little slow rollers, and I thought our guys did a nice job of handling those. But that keeps the pitch count down. If they're deep counts and you may rack up strikeouts, but it's a different feel when you're deeper in counts. Essentially, you could get some punch outs, but that's better. That's more efficient. It gets you deeper. He had a 5-inning stint in the scrimmage, but we were having to conserve a little bit because our hitters did a nice job. He got the early contact, and that changes the pitch count and how deep somebody can go into the game. And he still clearly had some strikeouts, but it was nice to see early contact, not hard contact, just good, solid, little ground balls. And Lodis stood out to me in how he attacked some of those things.
Coach Jamie, you had 5 errors tonight, and you guys had 5 unearned runs. How impressed were you that you were able to capitalize on those errors?
Well, I'm glad we did. I mean, that was really the way that we were able to manufacture. And I don't have an answer for the at-bats that I saw tonight. Those are hitters that are more capable of delivering. We grade contact 1, 2, 3, 3 being a really well-struck ball, and there were probably 4 or 5 of those tonight, which is unusual. And again, they did a good job of pitching. They moved the ball to both sides of the plate. Their secondary pitches, they did a nice job with it. So, but sometimes you create things and there is pressure because you have guys that can run a little bit, and it adds a dimension to how people play defense, and maybe that factored in. But again, it's something that we're going to have to tighten our approach, because when you're in those situations, essentially every inning, you're not going to lean on, that's not going to happen again. Like you have to deliver some of these things on your own, and hopefully we get to that.
Do you foresee, I don't know if tinkering's the right word, but looking at different lineup depending on the matchup of the pitcher, or getting other guys at bats, and because
Yes,
I feel like
I do absolutely.
Okay.
Now, right now, to tell you going into tomorrow with the big lefty they have going, I don't know the answer to what I would want to do tomorrow, and that's about as far as I will look. But yes, I need to do that. I want to do that. We do have some guys banged up, so we're not full strength. There were moments tonight when you would like to maybe get some guys in the game and get at bats, but it didn't feel like we had control of that game until very, very late. And at that point, it's a little awkward sometimes to bring people into a game, in fairness to them, having sat over there for 3 hours. So it's coming. And I will tell you, we do have some athleticism and depth from the position player side. And I will figure out the right mix. I do think some guys that may not have had good nights at the plate tonight will be guys that you will see with productive offensive seasons for us. I do.
Coach, what did you see from John tonight? He's in 3 innings of work, 8 strikeouts.
I saw power fastball. Okay, we're in the weight room, and I marvel at what these pitchers especially do before they ever go out and touch a baseball. There's only so much they can throw. So Jamie Burleson and Phil Montano, our strength and conditioning coach and trainer, they design things to help improve the physicality of the pitchers. So you saw a more capable physical individual on the mound today. We saw him start the last game we played in Omaha. It wasn't quite that type of stuff. That's where all of this work and the effort by the whole staff, like coaching staff, training staff, it shows. And that was really electric stuff. 4 above average pitches, I thought. The fastball when he came in the game, above average. Cutter, curveball, changeup, all of it was really good. And it's fun. The dudes work hard, man. It's fun to see them go out there and actually display that.
You saw the strikeouts last year with John, but also the walks with it. I know you don't want to overreact too much to one outing, but how have you seen him this offseason? It feels like that freshman and sophomore year can be the time where you see guys jump up over the course of the season.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know going into last season when we started the impact that he was going to have. You have to feel it in these situations. We would like to think we know, but sometimes guys get in the actual games and you learn about them more than you can in your practices. And I think his progression is right on schedule. And that was probably a tick above on schedule, if that's a term in the sport of baseball. I do like to see expectations of progression. You do expect it. That was noticeable, and I thought it was appropriate and reflective of the work he's done in here.
Coach, you wouldn't expect a hitter of Thoreau's caliber to be hitting the 7-hole. What does it say about the depth of your lineup, but also him to be willing to hit down in the lineup, and obviously he delivered tonight?
Well, I like to mix right-left a little bit. I think it's tougher to pitch to. I think sometimes command can suffer when you have to go left, right, left, right, left, right. So I do like that, and that was the most difficult spot in the lineup for me when I wrote it out today. There are places he could go in the lineup other than there. There are other guys that are in that lineup that, quite frankly, were ahead of him tonight that had maybe more consistent preseasons. And it still gave us a complete look, because at the end of the day, you don't care where the production comes from. That's a physical, competitive group that we ran out there today, line up top to bottom, and that's where he landed. But I think it does give a good look. I think DeLamalure was 6, and then him, and then Nate was 8, and Miles. So we really had the left, right all the way through it, and sometimes that makes it tougher to pitch too. So maybe some of the walk, the hit by pitch stuff that churns up can be a result of that a little bit, but he could hit anyone in the lineup. Right. There's no doubt. I just think he stood out, and being in the 7-hole and standing out is not me thinking he's incapable of batting anywhere else. He had a really good day, and then he could hit 3rd, 5th, 6th, 8th. It's a good group. That's just where we landed today.
How cool is it to see the grandstands filled like that in the middle of February?
Like it was phenomenal. I talked to Lulu when I did my end game with him. I think the refreshing of the stadium, and we've tried to do better with the concession offerings and things and how we serve it and where we serve it and how quickly. I want this to be a great experience. We have the best fans in the country. I want them to be able to come into a place that's clean, on point, the music's going, the scoreboard's right, all of the things that go into a game of this magnitude should happen, and it should reward them. And it was neat to see it packed, and it impacts the game. It impacted this game. That team had been to other places around the country, but it still doesn't mean that it's easy to roll in here when every seat is full and the fans are into it and the animals are doing their thing. It's fun. It adds a dimension to the game. Like, it makes college baseball better and fun. And I'm pleased that when I walked in here today, I felt like the stadium was in better condition, looked better, new things, the big jumbo TV in the Haggard Plaza. Those are neat touches for the best fans in the country.